Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. We are indeed changing this world one woman at a time. And I get the privilege of absolutely introducing you to women who are powerful, dynamic, mighty, and inspire me. And so I get to introduce you to one of those women today, Aliana Apodaca. She is a business owner and an advocate for women. She's a gifted speaker who connects with her audiences through humor and real life stories filled with inspiration and practical tips. Audiences connect with her warm style and can relate to her experiences, struggles, and her lessons. Her powerful teachings have moved audiences to profoundly change their lives and to take the action steps necessary for success. She is dedicated to personal power, and I have spoken at 2 of her conferences that are extraordinary. She's inspired thousands of people. Aliana, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Cynthia. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too. So ladies, let me tell you, we met in a very interesting way. I was having lunch with one of my dear friends, and she gets this text, and she says, "Oh, my friend Aliana is looking for a speaker. Can I introduce you?" And I'm like, okay, yes. So then I end up in El Paso at 2 of her conferences, and oh my goodness, amazing. So Aliana, I just want to talk first and foremost about why you do this work in the world.
Well, I started, next year it'll be 30 years. And so I started off with wanting to share the techniques, the tools that I had learned on how to create the life that you want. And so that has grown into more of organizational consulting. I do a lot of leadership coaching, do a lot of speaking, especially in Spanish-speaking countries. And the conferences came about because people asked for them. And, good business person always listens to their customers, and that's what I did. And when you listen to the customer, great things happen. So the first event that you spoke to in April, my April conference for administrative professionals, started off with 30 people. And last year was our 19th annual, and we had over 500 people per day. And then the women's conference, again, because people asked for it, started off, this is going to be our 9th year. And we started off with 100 people, and now we're maxed out at 650 women. So I need to look for bigger venues now. So yeah, I did it as a response to the need of the customers. And then the joy is that I have a great time putting on these events. I love seeing people connect with these speakers like yourself, bringing in talent, bringing in inspiration, because it really helps people when they come to these events.
Absolutely. Well, and a lot of people think that leaders are just born. They're born and they jump into this field, whatever it is. But I want to know where you came from. What was your childhood like? And what was your journey to get to be this powerful leader?
Oh, dang, that's a long story. I grew up in the valley of El Paso, so kind of agriculture. It was a very humble neighborhood. They call it El Barrio de los Indios, which is the hood of the Indians. So I grew up where the Tigua Indians were at, where there was a lot of humble Mexican-American families. We had little patches of gardening where we grew tomatoes. Everybody had a rooster. I mean, it's like that neighborhood was loud in the morning. But it was a very humble neighborhood. I grew up the oldest of 7 children. My mom was a waitress. My dad was a forklift operator. And their greatest aspiration for their children was that we finish high school. That was their big thing. And so right out of high school, I made it through. I went to a Catholic school, and I got married that first summer after high school. I was 16 years old. And girlfriend, the journey has been crazy. So I ended up in a really bad relationship. And so over the years, what I've learned is how to overcome. Actually, he dumped me, which was a blessing in disguise. But when I got through that divorce, I started to ask questions about life and about spirit and what was my destiny? I mean, was it just going to be raising? I had 2 kids at that time. Was I just going to be on survival mode? And I just by asking the questions, the right people present themselves. It's not that challenging to find the answers to our questions, but we have to ask the question, and I ask with all my heart, God, please help me to understand what it is that I need to do. What is the next step? And so through all my career and the success that I've had has been guided by Spirit.
Oh, that is incredible. Mine too. I mean, but I want to tell you what was incredible, especially at your women's conference, to see, first of all, what you created, and that you created a space for women, but Latina women, to come in and see possibility and explore their life and to move past their challenges. And you're such a model for that. What do you think is the biggest challenge in your line of work, doing what you do?
Well, right now with COVID, that's a whole nother world, right? But I would say the biggest challenge for me is when I can see somebody's potential, and whether it be through coaching or the conference or whatever other tools that we're using, that they don't see that potential in themselves. And that they stop the work, that they stop the journey because they can't see that for themselves. And that's why it's so important what you're doing, Cynthia, because we both support women. We see their potential. And I continue, and the space that you talk about at our conference that we've created is that I do see that potential in every single person and every single woman. And I just think about a world where everybody taps into their potential and steps into that water, puts their feet in the river and says, okay, I'm going to do what God has asked me to do, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And it doesn't have to be huge things. Little things can change a lot. When you have a little faucet of water that keeps dripping and dripping, and over time that changes the sink, it changes the rock that it falls on, it changes. It may not be a big, huge thing right away, but every single person is important, and contributing to their full potential to our world is what we need right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I really want to talk about, the struggle that women are having to step into that field of their potential, to step into their power, to claim their voices, to ask for what they deserve. I mean, from your perspective, what do you think is the biggest barrier for women, stepping into that power and that potential that is inherent within them?
Wow. Well, I think it's, I've been coaching a lot of women these past few weeks with COVID. And what I see is that they want to do good for everyone, and they put themselves last. I want to do what's right for my kids. I want to do what's right at my job. I want to do what's right for my partner, my husband. And the last person they think about is themselves. But yet, if I am a woman that is totally in my power and doing what I need to be doing, I am blessing myself, but I'm also blessing everybody around me. And I think turning the lens so that I can understand, we are each born to shine God's love and light. And what is it that I need to do to do that? And so I see the boundaries that women don't set with their children, with their stepchildren, with their bosses, with their partners. We need to address our needs and our concerns so that we can be better for everyone else.
Absolutely. So how did you learn to set your boundaries?
I had to learn the hard way, girlfriend. My first husband was a physically abusive man. He was emotionally abusive. I grew up in a home where there was physical abuse and sexual abuse. And so I've had to learn over the years. And the motivation for me to learn was to protect myself and to protect my children. The motivation to speak up when I needed a raise was because I needed to make more money to support 2 kids by myself. I always found that motivation to be able to step into my power. And it wasn't for me necessarily, it was to protect myself, my children, to protect my livelihood. And so I think it's important that women surround themselves with other women who have gone through it, who can help them with maybe the vocabulary, the words. I remember practicing in front of a mirror, Cynthia, when I had to ask for a raise. And I would practice in the mornings, and I would practice my little speech because I didn't know how to say I deserve more money. And these are the reasons why. When a man speaks to me, and that doesn't happen very much anymore, but sometimes men still get to where they're not speaking to you with respect, and you have to learn to say, excuse me, did you mean to sound disrespectful? Because that's what you said. That's what you sounded like right now. And even with our own sisters, our own women friends, they're like, what the hell are you talking about, girl? Learning how to say this is not okay, but to do it in a way. My style is to put a little bit of a twist of humor in it, to let the person kind of save themselves a little bit, kind of like, oh no, I didn't mean to sound like that. Okay, just want to make sure, because when you speak in that tone of voice, that's what comes across. So learning, and I've had to learn through trial and tribulations, but also just testing the waters. The best thing I can say is practice, but surround yourself with women who love you, who support you, and hopefully have been able to give you some wise wisdom.
Oh, I love this. I was looking at an interview one day, and they were interviewing Judge Judy, right? And I did not know that she was one of the highest paid women on television. And so the interviewer was asking her, how did she get to make so much money? And she looked at him and she said, because I asked.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She said, I deserve it. She said, my ratings are high and I do a good job. And she said, and I had to learn to stand in my own power. And so I love that, because I had to do the same thing. I had to learn to find my voice, to ask for what I deserve, and to really, ask to be compensated for the amount of excellence and value that I provide. And I think that that's something we can all learn about. Well, I want to know, first of all, I want you to tell women how to find you, because they should know about you. They should know about your conferences. They should know about your coaching. How do they find you?
I'm on Facebook, Aliana, Aliana, Apodaca. That's a mouthful, Apodaca. So I'm on Facebook. Then our website is positivedirectionsco.com. So positive directions, plural, co.com. And you can find me there and find our services. And I'd be happy to help whoever's listening and needs some support and help during these times.
Beautiful. So this is the question I ask every person that I interview. What is the one thing you want women to know about their awakening?
To be an awakened woman is such a joy. It is a place of knowing yourself, knowing your place in this world, knowing how to give of your talents with love, with tenderness, with respect for self, but respect for others. And that when I remember, Cynthia, a time when women were in charge of this world. That was many, many years ago. And when women were more present in those leadership positions, we had more peace, we had more abundance, we had more collaboration. We would be able to take care of our planet. And so to the women who are listening, I say our planet needs you now. Our planet needs every single woman to be awakened, to bring back the balance of the feminine and the masculine, because our world is topsy-turvy. And what's going to fix it is the feminine. Bringing in the women who can see beyond the ego, beyond the stubbornness. I don't want to get into all the politics of what's happening, but our women need to speak up, and they can speak up, and it doesn't have to be like running for political office. Speak up at home with your children. Speak up at home when you see your neighbors doing something that maybe they shouldn't be doing. Speak up at work. Speak up with your girlfriends. Speak your truth, because we all know what shouldn't be going on, but it's just a matter of having the courage to speak our truth. An awakened woman does not hold back her truth. An awakened woman knows how to speak up so that she brings more truth and harmony and joy and peace into this world.
Ah, that is beautiful. Okay, ladies, this is why she inspires me. This is why I wanted you to meet her. Aliana, thank you so much for being here. Just know that I hold you in my prayers, and your work in the world is important and essential, and I'm really, really grateful you could be here.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation, and we'll have to catch up soon.
I would love that.
God
So,
bless.
thanks. So, ladies, please come back again and again. We put up new content, introducing you to new women quite often. You know, we want you to remember how powerful you are. And our goal is to invite you into the living rooms of women who are making a difference on this planet.